I'm from New Paltz, New York. It's a small college town in upstate New York. And I've pretty much always known I've wanted to do music from a really, really young age. I was a big Hanson fan when I was a kid, and I thought by around 7 or 8 I'd be, doing what the 7-year-old drummer was doing, rocking stadiums. I had my own music project on the East Coast for many years and finally took the leap and moved out here. I was living in LA for a little over 3 years, like 3.5 years. Everything was going great. I was meeting just a lot of amazing people to collaborate with. I basically found out that I had a 2-year-old daughter back in New York that I was never aware of at all before. So that shook up my plans quite a bit. Pretty quickly, I realized that me staying out here wouldn't be possible. I wanted to be a father to my little girl and get to know her, so I decided to move back to New Paltz, not really knowing like how it was going to go with the music career at all, because obviously I had come and set up my roots here, and it was just kind of crazy to, at the point I was at, leave and go back, but I knew it was the right thing to do. It was just a complete switch up of the plans of like how I was going to do it, but it's actually been the biggest blessing to have the internet and do that, because I've pretty much kept working with everybody that I work with out here. Especially as a writer too, like and a producer, I have my own setup, so I can go back and forth on both levels. And, we just like stem tracks out, and we kind of are figuring out all the time different workflows. It's kind of just like opened my stuff up even more, because now I'm back in New York and still working with everybody out here. I have my own solo stuff that I'm working on, which my goal with that right now is just to dig as deep as possible. And like all of my new songs actually tell the story of what I've been going through. From Mirage, the single I released a month ago, was kind of, that whole song was about finding out about Penelope and how I thought I was chasing this path my entire life, and then all of a sudden it was like, nope. And that was the first song. But all my upcoming singles tell the next steps of that story. A big part of what I'm doing is collaborating. As a producer, I work with my friend McKeldy. Shout out to McKeldy. Me and him have been doing so much work together as a production duo. And I also just myself produce. I do a lot of like beat making. I love hip hop, and I love working with that other side of music. As a producer, it's really cool because I get to delve and put on different hats than what I'm specifically doing. But really, I'm just like, the biggest thing for me is setting myself up so that music was my job. Like all I do now is either produce for other people or, or write, or it's definitely been a great thing to just immerse me in it. But yeah, it's everything. Like collaborating is the best for sure. From the age of 16 until now, really, and still, my focus is laser. I wake up thinking about how to make this dream come true. I do like eat, breathe, sleep it. But Penelope, and having her, especially not having her in my life for the first couple of years, it's like I appreciate every minute with her so much. It's been the first thing that really has allowed me to reconnect with just being in the moment, and that's spreading to every aspect of my life. So like, it's really, that balance has kind of come back. It totally feeds it, and it's kind of like, I'll say this, because I do like not stop really with the music, and at this point I feel like I'm at a place in my life, age, everything, where this is the time for me to just push as hard as I can. But but those times with my daughter have allow me to really, like, when I'm with her, I'm just focusing on that. So it's actually forced me to have that balance a little more. All these experiences and the love I have for her, it's the most inspiring. Yeah. The entrepreneurial aspect of it is so important today, and I would say that like it is 50% of my time. It doesn't make sense to work on music so hard and love it and then release it to no one. And so I started realizing that like it really was about, putting promotion and putting that energy, that business side of it is just as important. And obviously like social media is a huge thing for every artist, and like a big thing that I do honestly is like, I look to the next level of like songwriters, or I follow and watch other people closely, and because it's ever changing. That's part of the nature of it. And I'm constantly just watching what people are doing, what they're responding to, and also thinking about the message that I'm trying to put out there as well. It really is a full-time job, and you have to just accept it. I struggled with this for years of just like, I didn't want to do the business side. I felt like someone was going to come discover me. I just got to a point where I was like, you know what? These songs deserve to have people hear them and to put the attention to it. I'm really putting stuff out there. Even this interview talking about this stuff with my daughter, this was a crazy period in my life, and it's like my whole view on it right now is like, I'm just trying to be myself as much as possible. This is what I do. YouTube obviously is a huge thing. Like we have a web series we do on YouTube called Live in the Lab where we do live streaming. We live stream for hours at a time and you can kind of see the whole process of us making a song in the day. And then we make a documentary about that. I had this idea, like how cool would it be if we just forced ourselves to do this and we bring in different guests every day to try it, and we just started doing it, and it was really cool. It's just such a different vibe than I think you could do before the live streaming, you know? Yeah. So it's definitely like thinking outside the box and trying to come up with your own way of doing stuff that's cool, I think is important. And yeah, like I feel like right now a big thing is just like tastemakers, whether it's YouTube channels or Spotify playlists. It's like getting enough buzz behind your songs or getting a placement on one of those, I feel like can be huge for an artist right now. I've spent countless, maybe even like 100 hours putting research together for every blog that might relate to the different types of music I do. You want to be focused on where you're sending stuff to people, but it's a lot of grunt work, man. That's what I'm saying about like the entrepreneur aspect. Like my other new philosophy right now is like I am not above, you know, hustling for 200 YouTube views. It works. When I'm releasing a song for 2 weeks, I will just like not sleep, staying up till 3 in the morning writing emails, and that's how you get it done. Can't lie to yourself about that anymore. You gotta just know that it's like, you wanna make stuff happen out of thin air, you gotta make it happen. So it was the first stadium gig I ever played, which was just like amazing in itself, but the story was crazy because this was with my old project too, my former band, the Dylan Emmet Band. We were touring regionally and just playing shows constantly, recording constantly, putting records out of my mom's basement. We had really been climbing and just working so hard. We got this opportunity to play this festival called Alive at 5. And it's supposed to be an outdoor venue. I knew a lot of people usually show up to this. But that day there was a hurricane. So I'm freaking out. Literally every day I'm waking up like, in 10 days I'm playing opening for Smash Mouth, like so excited about it, and the hurricane comes and I start freaking out like, oh my gosh, this is not happening. They're not canceling the show. They end up moving it into Times Union Center. It's crazy because the next week I saw Billy Joel and Elton John there, playing for that many people. I'll never forget that moment. It really was just special and perfect, and it solidified for me in one night like, oh yeah, like this is what I'm doing. It's such a crazy time for songwriters, and I think that things are shifting and changing, and what qWaqqchat is doing that's really amazing. Every writer has those, you know, songs that just countless songs that are so good, and they never get heard. I feel like there's a lot of opportunity here in terms of people, whether it's licensing, discovery of artists. I think there's a lot of ways that this kind of approach to working with songwriters and hosting the music on this app, I think there's a lot of avenues that could be really, really cool for everybody in the business.